So how's it going, motherfuckers? It's time for your SummerSlam 2017 review. I got up really early for work. I was tired. I had to keep rewinding certain parts of the show because I was falling asleep during the middle, but got the whole show. Didn't watch the pre-show because the pre-show was so fucking long. There was like 3 matches on the pre-show. I don't understand why the Hardy Boys. This reminds me of when Rob Van Dam was not at SummerSlam, the year he returned in 2013. They put huge hype into the Hardys and RVD, being back like years ago. And the same thing happens to both of those entities. Both relegated to the pre-show, which I'll never understand. Like, how could you have big stars like the Hardys and they're on the pre-show? Or tag titles on the pre-show? So basically what you're saying is the Raw tag titles are more important than the SmackDown tag titles, and the whole thing of doing the whole brand split was to make SmackDown seem as important as Raw. How's that working out for you? Neville regained his championship, so why the fuck did he give it to the guy in the first place? What the fuck sense does that make? So you just give the title right back? So much for the king of the cruiserweights. But anyway, let's talk about the main show. So Cena is in the opening match. What? It's almost like WWE hasn't seen their own history. You don't put your company guy in the main match. And I know if you talk to people nowadays, if you talk to the marks, they'll tell you that Naka Murphy is the face of the company. Or they'll tell you fuckboy Balor is the face of the company. I'm sorry. Cena is still the face of the company, whether you marks like to admit it or not. That's just the simple fact of the matter. And as I predicted, Corbin lost the match. He loses the briefcase. He loses to Cena. You could say that his frustration got the best of him. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, again, Corbin loses. This guy, he loses the briefcase. Sean's View is posting stories on YouTube about him getting the case back. Doesn't seem like that's the case. Get it? Yeah. But to have this guy lose, he's following in the same footsteps as all the other Money in the Bank winners. Why must every single Money in the Bank winner lose constantly? And now he doesn't even have the case and he's still losing. Anyway, it was an okay match, an okay way to open the show, I guess. But Cena, after main eventing so many WrestleManias, being in world title matches, to be in the opening match I don't know. They don't know how to structure pay-per-views anymore. How hard is it? You put the most important matches towards the end of the card, the least important matches, or the matches that might, pump the crowd out at the very beginning. Structure it from, you usually do like a countdown. Think about it like MTV or VH1 back in the day, that they would count down the videos, so it would be the most voted video at the end, the most popular one. You do the same thing with the wrestling card, basically. And you had Natalya beating Naomi for the title. Why? I was really bored during this match, and that's no offense to the athletes involved, but just the fact that they picked Natalya, the least charismatic wrestler, that's not her fault. The best character they gave her, I talked about this leading up to this match, was the farting gimmick. That's the best that they could come up with her during her whole career. They made her a monster with Beth Phoenix, but that only lasted like 2 months, that dominant tag team. So, her winning the belt here, it was just like a little bit perplexing. I didn't expect it. I guess that's what they were going for, but You know, I don't know. Like, Natalia's ship has kind of sailed. That you don't have anybody invested in her. Winning the title is not going to get anybody invested in Natalya. You fucked up. This is Jim Neidhart's daughter. It's not that hard to get her over based on her legacy. You did it with Orton in the past. You've done it with many other wrestlers. You know, you're not very good anymore at pushing these second-generation stars, Curtis Axel, for example. They got really, really bad at a point pushing these, these next-generation stars. You know, when they already have a family in the business, you already are pretty much tailor-made to get a push, but they just couldn't figure it out. You know, they made it's like they couldn't figure out what to do with her. You know, from the farting gimmick, tossing her around the roster. She's back on SmackDown. Now they finally gave her a title. I guess it was because it was ridiculous how many times they were giving her title shots and she wasn't winning. You know, she would come close. You know, she wrestled Charlotte last year in a couple of matches. So now they gave her the win. But nobody fucking cares. The crowd was completely silent. And Naomi's on the mat just fucking crying like a girl. Well, I guess that's what she is, but, you know, she's supposed to be so tough. You know, she talks about her glow all the time, but there she is crying. Why not show an edge, you know, and, like, fight back a little bit? I know she's the baby face, but, man, she has tears rolling down her cheeks. It's just like, who can get behind the crybaby? You know, you didn't see Trish Stratus cry or Lita cry. You don't see these other women crying, but Naomi is crying. I guess, you know, like, okay, I know, like, they're trying to put Naomi as more of, like, the one for the kids. Oh, she's glowing. I understand that. I like Naomi. I do. I like the whole dance. I like the entrance and everything. But what, you're teaching kids that when you lose, you should cry? No, dust yourself up, get right back up, and fight back. I mean, what is the message you're trying to send here? Big Cass defeated Big Show. Highlight of the match was Enzo buttering himself up to fit through the bars of the shark cage. I don't know, Wade Keller was attacking this match. I think it was good. It showed that Cass was dominant. He just, you know, after all that whole shtick of Enzo doing the shit with the butter, oiling himself up to fit through the bars, he just gives him the big boot, and that's the end of him. He steps on him. Big Show gets 2 big boots, hits the Empire elbow, pins him. Good. So now that's the end of the feud. It was pretty emphatic. He, like, beat him, no cheating, flat out beat him, you know, and that was it. Any element of him having the hand, you know, broken or injured also added a little bit of something, a little bit of psychology, a little bit of a story. So it was all right. I didn't really have a problem with it for a slower paced match, and the comedy with Enzo added to it. Somehow Keller didn't appreciate that comedy, but the guy, like, has no sense of humor. He doesn't like any sort of entertainment. He just looks at the wrestling aspect. Orton beat Rusev. Rusev jumped Orton from behind, but then, you know, when the match officially started, Orton just brought him down with an RKO. You might as well just release Rusev. Just get rid of him. Because the thing is, what are you doing with him? Okay, I'm not a big Rusev fan. The guy has a certain look. I certainly wouldn't pick him out if it was up to me to assemble a roster. You know, I've talked about guys that have looks and everything. You know, like I'll tell you, like a guy like Jinder has a look, but Rusev, not so much to me. I don't know what it is. I look at him and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But now you have buried this man. You keep trying to, like, reawaken that beast or brute within him, and you just keep fucking him up. It's not going to help. You know, Wade Keller is making excuses. Oh, you know, he got too overzealous before the match, you know, and that's what cost him. No, he got buried here. They had Orton just beat him real quickly. It was like the Orlando Jordan treatment, at SummerSlam back in 2005. It's no different. He got buried here, and that's it. It's been going on for a while. It's been a trend. I don't really care all that much, but, it's like when I see them keep trying to tease that maybe Rusev might be going back to his old ways, I'm like, well, at least, they're trying to get serious about this guy, but then it's right back to square one. Like, what did they think was going to be accomplished out of this? Like, seriously, like, what does this prove? What does this do for Orton, who's accomplished everything? And what does this do for Rusev? Nothing. It makes him look like a goof. Sasha Banks beat Alexa Bliss. As you guys would probably guess, I'm not happy about this. I just look at Sasha and the stupid fucking fruity hair of hers. And I'm looking at, Alexa Bliss. She looks so hot with her hair up like that. Damn, she looked fucking good. And I don't know what it was. Like the finish was just all of a sudden, that like she didn't even have her finisher in the whole way, and then they just had Bliss tap out. Like, that's the goddess right there. She beats like Sasha a bunch of times, and then they just give it to Sasha. It was meant for Bayley. They gave it to Sasha. I don't know if Bayley was planned to win. Probably. And, so what's the deal here? They should have just kept the belt on Bliss. Well, Sasha's like one of those people, like, the fans are just, going through the motions. They don't even really seem like they care about her anymore like they did. They freaked out the first time, like when she was coming out, and she debuted during the Women's Revolution, and now no one really gives a shit about her anymore. That ship has sailed. Finn Balor beat Bray Wyatt, and I'll be honest, like, this really wasn't holding my attention. Bray was looking scared. And see, this is the problem I have with it. It's like they shit on Bray so much. Like, they bury this guy every single time, and he's one of the best characters they have. Even the marks realize that. This guy has a look. He's one of the few guys that has a character, and he's getting scared by a guy a lot smaller than him. Yes, I always talked about Balor wearing the paint, but a whole year goes by of no paint, shows up with the paint, in predictable fashion. He hints at it. That's the paint, and that's the rest we're going to see of the paint probably for the next year or so. He's going to go right back to the Arthur Fonzarelli Papa. Hey, who popped my collar jacket? That fucking fruitcake, that little cucky fuckboy Balor is going to go back to his little leather jacket that he loves so much, that he talked about in his interview. Oh, I love my leather jacket. The line starts behind me, and Keller's getting all excited. Oh, I knew that there was more meant for Balor than just feuding with Elias Sampson. Every single week, this guy gushing. He's supposed to be a journalist. Show a little bit of objectivity. Have you ever heard of that? Just not being biased. All his columns, they're all anti-gender, and I'm looking at his, like, he's also reviewed one of the promos by Roman Reigns backstage, and he calls it sexist. You are an SJW motherfucker. I will tell you that much, man. So yeah, I wasn't like thrilled with this match. Bray gets beat with it's the stomp. If I was, in my house, I would stomp around like a lunatic, but you pretty much know how that goes. He looked like a big fucking baby, basically, like a big hopping fucking baby. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins beat Sheamus and Cesaro, and I agree with most of the people I was discussing this with on Facebook. It was a good match. I joked about how they were boyfriend and girlfriend, basically, that whole storyline. So you got the big payoff. They're together. Yay! But it was a good match. But now you have the world champions who have failed to main event. And now we're right back to square one. Excuse me. We're right back to square one. You know, not good enough for the world titles. Nobody bought them as main eventers. Right back to the mid-card for tag teaming. And I loved how Cesaro jumped into the crowd and tore up that retarded fucking beach ball. Thank God he made those marks fucking cry. And you guys, I want Cesaro to get a push. Why is he tag teaming? He should win a world title. He should headline WrestleMania. He should headline the head of my cock. I want him to shove his bald head up my asshole. Oh, I love Cesaro. And you're playing with a fucking beach ball during his match, you fucking fruitcake, fucking cucky, marky motherfuckers. What is your fucking problem? You cry and you bitch about these wrestlers, and then, when it comes time for you to see them live and in person, instead of cheering them, you're fucking distracted during the match by playing with fully grown adults playing with beach balls. Thank God I can't even, describe it probably. He jumped into the crowd, ran several rows in to grab that fucking ball, and he tore it apart. Destroying that fucking ball, destroying the arguments of these stupid marks who think that this fucking shitty ass behavior is, I'm at a wrestling event, I'm voicing my opinion. You paid $200, $500, whatever you paid to sit in the front row so you could ignore the match and play with a fucking beach ball. Instead of maybe, I don't know, in New York where it's 80 degrees today, going on a fucking beach maybe and playing on the ball with your friends or some shit, but you rather sit in the fucking building and play with a ball. What a bunch of fucking babies. Fucking these immature motherfuckers. They harass wrestlers at events. They pay to harass wrestlers, and then they ignore the matches of guys that they beg the company to push. Yeah, that is the most retarded thing I've ever seen in my life. AJ Styles defeated Kevin Owens. It was interesting with Shane being there. There was 1,000 ref bumps. There was 1,000 fucking kickouts. These are two talented guys, but I am sick to death of seeing them already. Please tell me this is the last time we're seeing them wrestle. Why did we have to see this at SummerSlam? My fucking God. The part with Owens telling Shane that you fall off of buildings, but you can't even count to 3, that was funny. Look, guys, Owens has charisma. He shows it, but the guy is still a fat fucking slob. And they really have not done a lot to build this guy. For a guy who beat John Cena 2 years later, and of course this is not Owens' fault, they really haven't shown me why we should really look at this guy as a main eventer, as a prize fighter. I just see a fat guy that has talent, that could get in a lot better shape, who has personality. He looks like he could be a lot better. And once again, Shane is towering over these two guys. It was a decent enough match, but my God, how many kickouts, how many matches are these guys going to have? They kicked out of everybody's finisher. It's just, it's too much already with these guys. They work the same Ring of Honor style they were doing 7 years ago. It's tiresome already. The moves mean nothing because everybody just kicks out of everything. What's the point? And you've seen this match already. If you're a Ring of Honor fan, you've seen the match already. So what's the point of seeing the same thing that you watched 10 years ago? Jinder Mahal defeated Nakamurphy. Thank fucking God for that. It was a thing of beauty. And, Keller's rating down the match. Oh, boo! McMahon must have loved beating the Japanese guy in New York. Yeah, and I'm happy he did. Thank God that the Nakamurphy marks are crying. This guy's rubbing his... I know, oh, Brad, you always say you want guys with charisma. The guy is rubbing his nose on Jinder's abs, mere inches from his fucking Indian cock. He was born in Canada, his Indian cock. And I'm supposed to take this guy seriously? It's bad enough that this guy probably sells hentai DVDs or Blu-rays out of the back of a fucking unmarked van. This hentai peddler shitcake Nakamurphy. All the fucking anime fans love him. Oh, I love strong style. Yeah, this guy looks like he knows how to strong style a cock hentai style. And all the fans are crying, oh, this was his moment. Yeah, sure, keep dreaming. Look at how Jinder looks. The face he came out with, that's a star. You look at Nakamurphy, that's not a star. Get it? Got it? Good. For fuck's sakes already, I'm sick and tired of people whining about Nakamurphy. Send him back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. JBL's talking about something about IWGP. What? Did he mean to say IHOP, IHOP? You know, like they're going out of business. They're closing down a lot of stores. You might want to get your cheesecake pancakes soon. Fucking Nakamurphy, I made the video already. The guy sucks. I'm not feeling the whole weird thing. Oh, he's wearing Michael Jackson jackets. I don't give a fucking shit. This is not the wrestling that I grew up with. This is not the wrestling that I have grown up loving, have grown to love, however you want to put it. I don't like Nakamurphy. Sorry if this is your style of wrestling, but it's never going to fit in with the American audiences. And you want proof? The ratings? They're not going up since Nakamurphy's been there. They've only been going down. And in the main event, Brock Lesnar won the Fatal 4-Way. What an amazing match. Keller admits it's an amazing match too, but he's talking, oh, it's really interesting that he didn't pin Samoa Joe, that he beat Reigns. That means that Vince McMahon thinks highly of Joe. This guy watches that big match and all he can think of is Samoa Joe's hairy Samoan asshole. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's calling things sexist. He's calling things, they're not being sensitive because there were rallies in Virginia. Get the fuck out of here with your fucking cucky ass bullshit already and your stupid ass reviews. I'm getting sick to death of fucking Wade Keller, and anybody who supports this guy can go scratch their ass already. What a waste! What a waste of oxygen he is. You know, this was an amazing match. Strowman with all the power slams. Everybody was brawling. This was proof. I said it on Facebook. This is proof that the big men own the main event scene. Do you guys see, like last year when you had Seth Rollins and fuckboy Balor in the main event? Fast forward a year later, and what did I say leading up to this match? Go ahead and punch the ticket on it, take it to the fucking bank. It was going to be a better main event, and it was a better main event by far. Way fucking better. This match was amazing. They were going all around the ring, fucking power slamming Brock through 2 tables, then flipping the other table on top of him. What a thing of beauty that was. Brock retains in epic fashion. What a great match. They made Strowman look strong. Everybody looked good. Joe looked fat. It was awesome. Great match. So what do I give this pay-per-view? I'm not giving it a number grade. I said I'm stopping that a long time ago. It was an okay pay-per-view. There was a lot of eye rolls on here. The Seth and Dean match was good. You know, them winning the titles. There was entertaining stuff, but a lot of these tag title switches, the fuckboy Balor thing has me rolling my eyes at him beating Bray Wyatt. Jinder winning was a great moment for me, and the main event was great. So it was a decent show. Could have been a lot better, of course, if WWE didn't suck so much in other areas. But this was a main event. I want to see Brock go one-on-one with Strowman. Even the marks want to see it. That's how great. I can't even believe that there's a lot of marks in the crowd that are cheering Strowman. Like, I don't understand why they like this big man so much, but they are booking him fairly well. They are. I have to admit that. If they are booking somebody right, they're booking Strowman extremely well. So there you go, guys. There's your SummerSlam review. I'll see you for the Raw review, motherfuckers. Until next time, this is your YWC champ. I want to say one other thing. Just because it's two international guys with Jinder and Nakamurphy, do they have to show both the announcers? And why do they do it at every pay-per-view? Who the fuck cares about the other announcers? I speak English, and so do the majority of the people. You know, like, seriously, show that shit in their country. I don't care about the other announcers. And it's not me just, putting it out there like, oh yeah, I just want to hear English. No, what I'm saying is, it's a wrestling show. I don't need to see the German announcers, the Russian announcers, the Mandarin announcers. Fuck all of them. I don't care that Funaki is on the Japanese team. We know Nakamurphy is Japanese. We know that Jinder is of Indian descent. Fantastic. Great. Hallelujah. Congratulations to them. Give them a fucking medal for being their respective nationalities, and that you have people, commentating in their languages. That's great. I understand what you're trying to do there, but you do it way too fucking much. You show them every single goddamn pay-per-view. Anyway, I'll see you next time for the Raw review, guys. YWC champ, signing out.